I feel very stressed, very lonely, very mad that I can't communicate with him.
It's been more than a week since Victoria Colmenero last spoke to her fiancé, 24-year-old Wilfredo Rivero.
No one really expects this kind of thing to happen to them, especially when they go in to do the things right.
She last saw Rivero when they drove to Sacramento for an appointment with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. He was intending to take care of a simple administrative issue.
He was really happy. He was like, maybe they can even give me my permit or stuff like that. And he had no worries.
Colmenero says Rivero is in the U.S. legally with a pending asylum case and his next court date scheduled in Chicago for 2027.
After driving more than 5 hours from Siskiyou County, they arrived at the immigration offices inside of this building in Sacramento. Rivero only had an appointment to change his address.
Since he was able to establish himself here in California, he wanted to change his direction to California to see if they could make a court closer to home.
When they arrived, only Rivero was allowed inside the office.
An hour and a half passed by, and I started becoming suspicious on why they were holding him there that long.
After 5 hours, Colmenero says an ICE officer informed her that they had detained Rivero.
When I asked why he was being detained, the immigration officer couldn't give us any clear reasoning as to why he was being detained.
In an ICE database online, we found Rivero is being held at a facility near Bakersfield.
It's just a stressful situation because I know he's a good person and he doesn't have any criminal records.
KCRA3 reached out to ICE and asked why Rivero is being detained and the status of his immigration case. We have not received a response.
We hear a lot in the narrative about undocumented immigration or even illegal immigration. It's really important to know that asylum seekers that make their claim of asylum at the border are doing it, quote unquote, the right way. They're following the law and the procedure as it is available to them.
Jesse Marby, CEO of the nonprofit Opening Doors, says asylum seekers like Rivero are required to notify ICE when they move.
You have to, for example, notify ICE if you move and have a change of address. You have to attend all of your court hearings, and if you are required to do a physical in-person check-in, you have to comply with that as well.
Marby says a lot of time court cases take years to process due to the immigration system backlog.
You can come into the country, not necessarily be detained in a detention facility, and wait as your case makes its way through the immigration courts.
Rivero is from Venezuela. His fiancé says he came to the United States to help provide for his daughter and his mother's medical treatment.
He's a really hard worker. He came here to get a better life, to be able to provide, because Venezuela's situation is really difficult right now.
And Rivero's family is still searching for an immigration attorney that could take his case. Live in Sacramento, Carolina Estrada, KCRA3 News.
You know, other asylum seekers who see cases like this may be worried. Is there any advice for them if they have a routine appointment with ICE?
Yeah, Mabry says that if someone is nervous about an upcoming check-in with ICE, they can take an attorney or a trusted advocate. She does say it's really important not to skip any required meetings.
All right, Carolina, thank you.